Hello there, my name is Willow Arlena, and I am the founder of Dancing Willow Tree Mystic School, which can be found at mysticlifedesign.com. I am here with my friend and assistant and video goddess, Allie, and this video is about the Tarot of Transformation. The deck was first published in 2002 with this cover, and it has been reprinted many times with this cover.
The underlying perspective of this deck is one oriented towards deep spiritual transformation. The goal of transformation is not just to experience higher states of consciousness, it's to have your human person and human life transformed and reshaped in accordance with spiritual realization. Every topic discussed in this deck, including, creating balance in your life, working with the shadow, recovering instinctual wisdom, and releasing stuck energy, all of those are building blocks for transformation.
My hope in sharing this video about this deck with you and sharing my healing work with you is to inspire you on your journey. Thank you. Hi there, my name's Willow, and I'm here with my friend Allie, and today we're going to talk about the Five of Wands with the Tarot of Transformation, freeing your expression. And Allie's going to read the first paragraph in the book.
So the Five of Wands, freeing your expression. The fifth chakra is the throat center and relates to unobstructed expression. Although this can be generalized to any kind of expression or creativity, the more specific focus is expression through voice, whether it's singing, public speaking, performing, or just speaking your truth. Then it says in the book, all the fives in the tarot entail some kind of struggle. So Willow, in your experience, do male-identified or female-identified people have more struggle with expressing themselves?
Good question. Good question. So historically, men have trouble expressing more vulnerable feelings. Traditionally, it's easier for them to express anger and irritation. And of course, these are just broad, general brushstrokes. But that's been the case historically. And women have more trouble expressing their no, speaking up in groups, particularly when there's big, quote, powerful men in the groups. Women often have trouble really speaking up or saying, no, this doesn't work for me. So that's generally how it's gone. And the Me Too movement that's sweeping the land these days is a great example of that, because many women now are finding their voice and saying, this happened to me too. So collectively, the power of the collective is giving many women their voice to say, no, I don't like this, and time's up.
Yeah. Thank you for that. And just looking at Willow's Journey Through the Chakras book, I was reading about the throat chakra, and I kind of stumbled upon this paragraph that I'm going to read. So it says, many women who are sexually abused are told not to tell, so they shut down their voice for fear of their very survival. This and other family secrets that must not be told inhibit the healthy functioning of the throat chakra. If parents lie to their children, or if the parents are overly authoritarian and rigid, the child may develop a strategy of lying herself. People lie if they don't feel safe enough to speak the truth. If this happened to you, it may be particularly challenging to speak your truth as an adult. Your throat chakra may be deficient.
Yeah, so now we're talking about some really serious wounding that unfortunately many, many women have around the issue of sexual abuse and physical abuse that happens in far too many families. So, when those things happen, there's this huge contraction in the system throughout many of the chakras, including the throat chakra. And there's this major fear of speaking up. And often, it was literal. If you tell I will kill you. I mean, women have been told that. Little girls and little boys who've been abused have been told that. So you can imagine the constriction and jamming that does to the throat chakra. And it sets up a lifelong pattern of not feeling confident enough to speak one's truth.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm curious, you use the term deficient throat chakra as well, so I'm wondering if you can say more about the deficiency piece as well.
Yeah, so any chakra can get imbalanced in two ways. One is it can be deficient or contracted, restricted, or the other is it can go into excess. So, again, this deficiency, shutting it down. Like, I knew a person a long time ago who was seriously sexually abused throughout her childhood, and she didn't speak a word until she was 5 or 6 years old. And then, you know, as she grew into adulthood, she still had trouble finding her voice, and her voice was really constricted and raspy. So that's an example of a seriously deficient throat chakra. And some women or men don't have it that bad, but they have like little squeaky voices and you know, yes, whatever you want, you know, and can't find their no, can't speak their truth, are scared of being shamed. I know a lot of people have this basket of unworthiness that comes from all this stuff.
Yeah. What you're saying in the deficiency piece is reminding me how we can fall into depression and not being able to speak our truth too in those moments. Yeah.
Because if you're going around feeling awful about yourself, you're not going to speak up. I know those moments when I fall into the pit of shame. You know, I don't even want to talk to the postman, you know, let alone speak my truth with a bunch of people that might be slightly adversarial, you know.
Right.
Yeah. And then the opposite of that is excess, which is also caused usually by unworthiness and shame and insecurity. It's just kind of a compensating strategy that's assertive or aggressive, and, you know, it can take on a flavor of narcissism, and men tend to do this, although women certainly can do this too, you know, get puffed up and arrogant and dominate the conversation and cut off other people and not listen, you know, really not listen to the others in the dialogue and just dominate the conversation and express one's own opinion, you know, loud and aggressively, and control the situation with that excessive throat chakra energy.
Right. Yeah, and I think what you're reminding me too is how to have compassion when we see narcissism or some of these really big, you know, unskillful kind of behaviors in that way, like the core wounding underneath, and how to have and kind of hold that compassion for like, wow, that person must be really wounded. So you're reminding me of that too if I get angry at men or certain people that are really projecting outward and feeling unfair. It's like there must be a lot of wounding under there.
It's just a compensating strategy. I was in a dialogue with someone quite some time ago, and I could just watch him flip from feeling really insecure, and his whole body language would take that on, to going into this like rigid, aggressive, controlling, blocking, kind of puffed up energy. And it was so obvious it was a compensating strategy, and underneath that was a lot of pain and insecurity, like a lot of us feel.
Yeah. Thanks for the example of that. Yeah. And just looking a little bit at the card, so the Five of Wands, freeing your expression, has a mushroom sort of in the middle of it, and with the elf sitting on top of it. But just starting with the mushroom, I'm wondering sort of what it represents on the card.
Yeah, so the mushroom represents a fountain of energy. So you can imagine energy going up and, say, hitting a ceiling. And so it's stopped, it's blocked. But it doesn't just stop. It keeps flowing. So it flows out, bifurcates, and spirals around and keeps on moving. So that's what the mushroom represents. And that's actually what we need to do to heal the throat chakra, or any chakra really, is move the energy. So that can look like a lot of things, you know, practicing speaking, practicing saying your no, or just moving your energy in general. Like, I had a person in my life quite some time ago who had a very blocked throat chakra. She could hardly speak up in groups, and she smoked, which for her, when she described it, it was like literally sucking in what she wanted to say, and then getting this little dopamine buzz, so that she would feel better. So, you know, this core level insecurity, repressing herself, sucking it in, which of course damages the throat chakra. And like many people, she was trying to work on her challenges, her addictions there. So she started working out. And I remember her telling me that just moving her energy, working out, like riding her bike and all that, that in itself made her feel stronger and made her energy move. And she could literally feel the effects in her throat chakra, opening up her throat chakra and making it easier for her to speak up with other people and in groups. So moving the energy, that's the key here.
Yeah, and I love that example about how there's different ways to move energy through, and this person's exercise directly related to that. Yeah. So I'm curious now, so we have the mushroom piece, but also the elf on top of the mushroom.
So at the time we're making this video, it's very early spring, and some flowers are starting to bloom. So I like to think of Mother Nature as a living being coming into her expression this time of year. All the flowers are blooming. It's like they all get to express themselves, and elves represent parts of the nature kingdom kind of coming to life. So I'm going to share with you a little thing that might be off your map, but I was on a shamanic journey a while ago, and I came into the presence of the dandelion flower. And the dandelion told me that she could hardly wait until spring when she could burst forth and bloom and come into her expression.
I love that you had that experience.
Oh, isn't that a sweet story?
Yeah.
So all of nature is moving toward expression this time of year, and we can harness that energy, ride that energy, and use this as a time to claim more of our own expression. So a little review. We've talked about deep, serious wounds to the throat chakra, often from sexual abuse or physical abuse, for men being conditioned not to express vulnerable feelings, for women not having their no, and on to moving your energy so that it can get going, and then the beautiful expression of nature.
Yeah.
So thanks so much. This has been the Five of Wands in the Tarot of Transformation, freeing your expression. Hi there. I hope you've enjoyed this video about the Tarot of Transformation. The deck can be found on my website at mysticlifedesign.com. You might also enjoy some of my other books: Seasons of the Goddess, The Cycle Around the Tree of Life, Journey Through the Chakras, a color and contemplation book, and The Path Through Emotional Pain. In my healing work, I offer psychic chakra energy readings, archetypal energy psychotherapy, and trauma resolution work. You can find out more about these things at www.mysticlifedesign.com. Thank you so much.